Peace and blessings, all my beautiful people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. Okay, today's episode, this is very important. This one is for my peoples. Now, I want to break it down in a way where you guys can have some kind of understanding. So let's start off with just putting it in a hip-hop sense. Okay, we see a lot of rappers nowadays, they getting gunned down, and a lot of them are getting robbed, and things are just happening, a lot of home invasions and things like that. And it's because people don't understand the design of wealth and black wealth. It's completely different than being white and wealthy. It's two different things. We see a lot of times where, when a black person reaches a certain status, a lot of people see them wearing their money as it's all part of the design. And what I'm going to break down to you today, and you hearing this conversation, you understand the reason why the person that you might be looking over and thinking, just because a person has more than you might have, or you think you have, or they have, doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't hit a ceiling where when they get to that point. So in, let's say, YouTube terms, like you see somebody getting views like 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, it's all adding up. The CPM is going to drop so it can hit that ceiling. Now, you just starting your YouTube channel, you might think, no, I would love to make that amount of money, and I would love to make that a month. But when you get to that point, you realize when you want to go further than that, that's where you hit the ceiling. So everybody has different ceilings. So it makes no sense of us going back and forth at each other, because the person that you might think has more, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're rich or wealthy. A lot of people on social media, they want to fake rich. We hear the term fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. But why should you have to fake it? It's because that is some form of promotion of putting in people's mind that they have this, so you can pay this to get that. And we see it in clothing, and we see it in brands. A lot of people feel like when they buy into those luxury brands, but then when they get the actual product, the quality is not the same. It's because those people didn't even want you wearing it or having it in the first place. So of course you're not going to get the best of quality, regardless if you feel like you're richer than the person behind you or even the person in front of you. It still doesn't necessarily mean that that person can't hit the ceiling. The wealth gap is definitely divided. So when I see people arguing and killing people for chains and jewelry and Rolexes and things like that, it saddens me, because when you get to a point where you start making that amount of money, where you'll have an understanding that this is not it. This is not where it stops. This is just a ceiling at this point. So why the hell are you gonna go, hurt somebody for a prized possession that they own, when really you don't even know what status in their life they are? A lot of people are looking over and trying to be like the Joneses, and the Joneses really doesn't exist in our skin color. So you have to start realizing, treat people right, and you have to know how to circulate your money with the people that's going to help you grow forever. Let's think about producers, think about rappers, think about CEOs. Out of those three, the person that's going to benefit the most will be the producer. It's because if the artist is like an artist like a Jay-Z or a top artist of whatever tier they're in, that producer will still get revenue from that artist and the work that he made with that artist. As of anybody else, if they don't have that money keep coming in and they don't have to keep working for it and it's just coming in, they lose out. So whether you could be the CEO, this and that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're rich, because the CEO is not going to be rich to the owner. You understand? There's different levels to this, and that's what I try to explain to people. Why kill your own people for they haven't even reached that point yet to say that they're wealthy, and people are just getting their life snubbed away, and it's almost like a crabs in the barrel, crabs in the bucket type of mentality. And what people don't understand, what that happens is, it shows you that at a certain point in status, you have to keep running and moving to get to the next status, because people that don't understand what that status entails, they end up trying to hurt you just thinking of what they think it is, if you can understand what I'm saying. So join me in this conversation, you guys. Have some kind of understanding of it. And it doesn't mean just because I have more than you, doesn't mean that I don't go through problems. And just because you have more than me, doesn't mean that you haven't hit your ceiling where you can't make more to get ahead, to be in that wealthy bracket. So have some kind of understanding and don't hurt your own people, man. Everybody's just trying to get where they gotta go. That's why I always had that problem of, just belittling people. I'm the type of person, if I have more than my friend and my friends around, I'm going to share it all equally so that we all can feel good. It's all about unity. It's not about pointing down on the next person, because you never know where a person can be tomorrow, or you never know where a person could be if you just help them out. I think what people are missing out when it comes down to business, when it comes down to living, just the whole black experience, is information is key. Information is the key to it all. Once you're informed, you would have a better outlook on that person. I don't see a lot of things, when they say there's a lot of jealousy, those are misguided people, because if you had the information, there would be nothing that you're seeing on today's social media or even in these rap videos or anything that will make you jealous, because it doesn't symbolize real wealth. So when I see people going at people and saying, oh, well, he just, they are like, rest in peace, PNB Rock, he had all that jewelry on. What that does is not just saying that PNB Rock was rich, but it shows that in certain environments, if that's all they look up to, they consider that of being rich, of a status, because that's a level they didn't reach yet. Meanwhile, when they throw those chains on, if they reach it on their own, they will realize that there's way more to go before you can even understand what rich or being wealthy is. Being that the prices are inflated, a person that you would be considered rich in these times is way different than back in the days. These times, people could have a few $1 million and still feel broke. As hard as that is for people to understand, because they haven't reached that point, you have to have some kind of understanding and put yourself in other people's shoes. So let's just jump in this conversation. I'm not going to hold you guys up. That's just my take. I wanted to add into it. And you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And just treat each other better, man. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made it. What you made, Mickey?
Mickey made it.
Mickey made it. What's up, man? Salute. Mickey, you made it, Mickey. Mickey made it.
So they want to separate the smart and the elite black people from the regular and the normal black people, the average black people. So they extracted us from the black community and they separated us. That's what they did.
When there were some black people who had a certain amount of money and they wanted to leave and go into these other communities that were nicer, that happened to be white, they tried not to let them in. We had to fight for the right to get in those neighborhoods. So who are you saying planned this?
The powers that be didn't want to separate us. I really believe that being from Atlanta and being from a black healthy community really changes and sculpted not just my perception, because I saw it for myself, and I realized but do you know why they even allowed integration to begin with?
Why?
Or do you know what the driving force was? The driving force for integration, sports, when the white coaches would go to HBCUs, and they saw how dominant these basketball players were, these football players were, these baseball players were, they were like, we need one of them. I'm not sure if it was Duke or North Carolina, but one of the schools, I want to say, it could be Duke. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself after. I want to say Duke had won the men's NCAA championship, and whoever the top black school was, they played them in secret, just compare. And the black team killed them.
Never heard that.
It was
but I believe that.
It was like nigga, we need one of these. Then it happened in football.
We need one of these.
March 12, 1944. Two basketball teams gathered at a local Durham, North Carolina gym. A private match was held between two local universities. North Carolina Central is an all-black school, while Duke University was an all-white school. The Eagles coach John B. McClendon was a legendary figure at NC Central who led them to an incredible 19-1 record, while the medical team at Duke was said to be better than the senior varsity squad. These two groups met at the Eagles gym Sunday morning, as most of Durham was at church. Coach McClendon locked the doors as everyone settled, and the game started. It was one of the first integrated sporting events in the South. The Eagles easily won 88-44.
The issue that I have with our idea of success, especially as black people, is we measure our success level based on how much of our time we can give, how much we can be away from our families and our friends. But most importantly, as far as what I was thinking, we measure our success based off of how many things we could buy from white people. And I hate that. When I look online and I see people talking about black excellence, I see people wearing Louis Vuitton and driving a Mercedes and going to Europe. First of all, as a black person, when you become successful, why is the first place that we always want to go to Europe? When I think about my dream vacations, I don't think of Europe. I don't want to go to Europe. Do you know what Europe has done to the world? I don't want to. I would rather go to Ghana or Nigeria or to somewhere in the Caribbean or Central America. I don't understand, like, when we become successful, our biggest aspiration as far as what we want to do is go spend it with white people. That don't sound crazy to y'all? Like, no, I'm not in no rush to go to Paris to see the freaking Eiffel Tower. Do you know what the French have done to Haiti? Like, no, I'm cool. So I just think that it's so backwards how the minute that we become successful, we just go rush to give it right back to the people that were responsible for you having to fight so hard to be successful in the first place. It's just so backwards. And also, to end this point, I'm not saying this to say that we shouldn't be successful. I'm saying that we have every right, every need, every necessity to be successful, and it is our birthright to be successful as black people. But what I am saying is that we have enough black businesses, black everything to go spend it with our own. I don't care that you can go buy from Lululemon. Why do you get rich and wear Lululemon? There's black athleisure brands. Why do you go buy from Gucci? There's black upscale fashion brands. I know a few. Like, my point is, when we go buy from ourselves, we make it look like we're supporting each other. It shouldn't be that. When we go eat at Ruth Chris or Jeff Ruby Steakhouse or a big chain restaurant, Nobu or something, we don't say we're going to go support an Asian-owned restaurant. It's just going to eat where we want to go eat. We look at us as charity. So when we get rich, the only time that people who are rich and black go eat at or go support black business is in order to make it seem like a charity thing. It shouldn't be that. It should just be going to catch a vibe like we go do at other places. My point is that we should view ourselves in a greater light, so that when we're rich, we want to go share with ourselves as opposed to go give it back to where we got it from. You know?
I got one more and then I'm out of here. I know y'all tired of hearing me talk. But this one here is for my people, black people, people of color, African Americans. I'm convinced that even the wealthiest of the wealthiest black people don't understand finances. And you might say, well, they do because they're rich. Just because they're rich does not mean that they understand money. Okay? I don't think that they understand how finances work or how money works when you spread it amongst your people, when you spread the knowledge and the education amongst your people, when you take your wealth and your riches and you use it to empower your people. Okay, the Indians do it. Okay, the Arabians do it. The Chinese people do it. Japanese people do it. Okay, Chinese people do it. All the other races, when they get wealthy, they take their wealth and they go back to their people and they empower themselves. They empower their whole economy when they get wealthy. Okay, black people, we don't do that. We don't do that. We have enough black famous people and enough black rich people and enough black wealthy people for it not to have any ghettos exist. To not have any ghettos exist. None. Ghettos do not have to exist. But our people, we've picked up this mentality from other races and other cultures that stay to myself. I'm making all the money and I'm not going to help nobody, and I'm not going to get out here and help nobody else that looks like me. Once I get my money, I'm getting away from these niggas. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the right mentality to have, because these other races don't have that mentality. When they make a lot of money, they come together and they rise. Us, when we make a lot of money, we go somewhere, we go get secluded, we go on our little island, go in our little corner, and we stay away from our own people, and they need help. It's like you climbed out of the hole, and now you're not going back to the hole to help everybody out. Black people don't understand money because we're the only race that makes a lot of money, but we're not taking all of that money that we make and going back and helping our people. Once we make a lot of money and we make it, we stay to ourselves. That's how I know that I don't care how much money you make. If you black, you don't understand money. You don't. We got enough athletes, enough actors, enough entertainers, enough rappers for it to not be any poverty in a black neighborhood. But we all for self. Black people don't understand money.
People got crabs in the bucket mentality really badly, and they need to fix that because it does nothing but hurt us. We are too far behind. We need to catch up. We need to help each other, not hate on each other. It's not acceptable. Like with Jay-Z's situation, a lot of people were rooting for him to be guilty. Why are you just automatically assuming the worst? I would hope that that's not true. I'm not trying to negate if it's true or not, but it's like you didn't even let the facts come out. You just like, oh yeah, he guilty. I've been waiting on this moment. Why? That's kind of weird to be waiting on this moment, right? For example, cooking with Kaya. That girl just young, twerking and cooking, but I see a lot of women are hating on her. We should not be tearing down each other, and now y'all got other races of women joining in bashing her. The dog paddling ain't fucking cool at all. And just like with Ghetto Gastro, as soon as they heard the name Ghetto, they were like, oh, I'm not finna support this business. I try to support black businesses, but all of y'all don't deserve it. You weren't going to support him anyway. And he actually has a reason why he calls it Ghetto Gastro, but you didn't look it up. You just wanted to bash him. But I want you to think about the reversal of every situation that I named, right? So, Jay-Z, you could say Trump. Trump has the same allegations that Jay-Z has. He actually has more. But a lot of people are just like, he didn't do it, and you're okay with it. Okay, other races of women go viral. They just get to enjoy the fruits of their labor. They don't get all this pushback, all this controversy surrounding it for no reason. Like, non-black companies use the black aesthetic. Y'all just eat that shit up.
At this point, most of y'all have probably seen this going around social media, but I want to ask, how many of y'all know what the racial wealth gap is, and how many of y'all know what the causes of the racial wealth gap is? Hi, my name is Nina. I am an institutional equity trader and a certified financial planner professional, and this is something that is so near and dear to my heart. It's been so upsetting for me to see the discourse around why people believe that African Americans are at the bottom of the income ladder. Most of the conversation seems to be centered around character flaws of black people, and no one is talking about how there are inherent racial disparities that prevent black people from generating and preserving wealth in this country that have existed for years and continue to exist. In 2019, McKinsey did a study on the economic impact of closing the racial wealth gap. They actually determined that if the United States were to focus on closing the racial wealth gap, it actually would increase our GDP. They break down wealth generation and preservation into four main categories. First, starting off with community context, which can lift or depress family wealth, income, and savings. Family wealth affects family income and savings/ability to save. Aggregated family wealth helps contribute to and form community context. Family income affects disposable income available to save. Lastly, family savings affects a family's ability to save and transfer wealth for the next generation. Research into these categories are showing that for black people in this country, the quality of life is decreasing, while for white people in this country, the quality of life is improving. It will take black people 320 years to catch up and close the racial wealth gap. This is just the smallest amount of information that's included in this report. So please let me know if y'all are interested in a video where I go into more depth about everything that's included, because this information is mind-blowing and also heartbreaking. Like I told y'all, this work is so personal to me because when I look at this information, I don't just see statistics, but I see myself and I see my family and I see my childhood friends in it. So it's something that I am so very passionate about. And since I not only have a platform on this app, but I also have the expertise because I work in the finance industry, it is something that I'm going to continue to speak on, and I'm going to continue to use my voice to draw light to this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you're interested in more information and more videos like this, please check out my page and give me a follow. Okay, bye.
I want all my beautiful black people to chime into this conversation. We've all dealt with a black person who we believe we're like, this person think that they white. And it's not because of their speech. It's not because how they're dressed. It's not because of any of that. It's because black people share this collective consciousness. And we know when you've had those experiences that make you a black person in America. It's almost like a telepathy, if you will. And when you look into these people's eyes that seem white, they don't connect. There's no connection. There's no telepathic connection. And so it's like, it's odd. It's like, this person think that they white. It's not their speech. There's no telepathic connection. That's what it is. So chime in. Tell me what you think about it. What makes you think a person's white?
I'm realizing that one of the primary reasons why our elders in the Black diaspora don't actually want to build generational wealth for us is just the simple fact that they don't want us to go farther ahead than they went in life. They don't want us to overtake them or advance them in some way. And how they view it as is, well, if I don't give you access to this resource, if I don't support you in any material way, then you won't end up better off than I did. And that's the way it should be, because I had to struggle and suffer. I didn't have these opportunities. I didn't have the talent that you have. I didn't have the smarts that you have. I didn't have the resources that you have. And because you have it, you'll be better off in life than I will be. And it's such a harmful, destructive way of thinking. But unfortunately, that is exactly how many of our elders think. And you hear this criticism come through whenever you find yourself trying to pursue some method of self-improvement, either through education or either through some financial attainment or moving to a different zip code. It could be something simple that seems innocuous, but your elder will view it as, oh, you must think you're better than me now, or you must think you're trying to be better than me now. Well, I'm not going to support you in being better than me. You can't go farther ahead than I've gone. That just can't happen. And what's so especially harmful and what's so especially damning about this approach is that they often levy these harmful phrases and attitudes towards the women and the girls in their environments. They tell these things to women often pursuing education. That's like the biggest thing. You're pursuing some kind of education, even if it's a certificate or just a licensure, all the way up to a PhD or an EDD of some kind, a professional degree, some kind of self-improvement that will give you credentials and letters behind your name that will ultimately result in you like earning more and just having a better quality of life. It's, well, then you must think you're better than me. They never levy these harmful attitudes or words at the men in our environments who are worthless, who are harmful themselves, who are violent, who are alcoholics, who are substance use abusers, who are ne'er-do-wells, who are in and out of jail, who can never seem to stand up on their own 2 feet. They never tell those men anything, like, they don't criticize them in any way. They don't hold them to any specific standards. Those men can just exist as they are. But the women in these environments trying to do anything worthwhile, it could be even like, okay, well, I'm breaking up with my abusive boyfriend, or I'm divorcing my alcoholic husband. Oh, so you think you're better than me for leaving your man and I stay with my man who ain't shit? So you must think you're better than all of us then if you don't think that you need a man or whatever. It's that kind of like stupid ass, petty, pea-brained, and narrow-minded ass conversation that they have with the women in their environments. And it's just yet another way that the elders in the Black diaspora fail us time and time again. They fail to protect us, they neglect us, they leave us to our own vices, they leave us to figure things out. And if you ever try to improve yourself or your lot in life, you're struck down, you're exiled, you're not supported.
Morning, people. It is Thursday, February the 20th. Gotta tell you something real quick. You guys know I've been talking about my grandfather, born in 1900, and how he don't trust white people. and understandably so. Think about it, 1900, young man growing up in the 1900s. Well, anyway, I was about 12 or 13, and we're talking about the different classes of white people. You got the rich and the poor. There was no in between, as far as what my grandfather told me. There's no in between. Now my grandfather said, he said that rich white people don't like poor white people. And I was like, why? He's like, rich white people don't like poor white people. Rich white people use poor white people to mess with poor blacks in general. Where you have the Ku Klux Klan, the Proud Boys, whatever. Mind you, we are in the South, okay? He said that they didn't like him. He said they use them to make them feel superior to blacks. While they, sit in the place of office or hide behind a pen or a pencil, and then they have their poor white minions out there trying to wreak havoc on black people. So yeah, he said it. And my grandfather was not a calm talker. When he talked, you heard him. Trust me. And I just found that to be interesting. It just came up on me in my spirit on my drive this morning. So I thought I would share that with you guys. Yeah, he said that rich white people don't like poor white people, and they treat them as if they're technically as if the poor white people are black people. He said it. He said, but he don't trust none of them. None of them. Y'all have a good day.
Well. So this is what I'm trying to always break down to you guys. Don't look over at the next person and think that they have more. You always concentrate on you. Concentrate on building you to your best points. And don't put so many things, attach so many things in your life where you have bills that over your bills take over what you have bringing in. You have to maintain your life. Maintenance is the biggest key. Just because you might think a person have so much money in the world, it doesn't mean necessarily that they can maintain the lifestyle that they put up. A lot of times people fail at that point. Everybody has ceilings. There's different ceilings, just like in YouTube. There's different. If you see like a kid, like for example, like Kai Cenat, he's very young. He's younger, so he's very impressionable for the other people, so they can make a lot of money off of him. Whatever he buys, whatever he promotes, there's a whole generation of youth they can make money off of. So giving him a certain amount of money will make it even greater to show them what they have to sell to the youth. So he'll get more sponsorships, more endorsements, because whatever he's gonna buy into, they know that there's gonna be a generation of people that's going to follow behind, and they'll make their money back and triple. The older you get, you start to realize whatever lifestyle that you have brought up to that for, you have to maintain it. And that's the reason why it's kind of like how they say at McDonald's, you get fired at a certain age because the youth is always coming in. It's a youthful job, because there's a certain point where people start thinking about their health, and that's not their first place of choice to go. And you'll see that in business. You'll see that in everything you do. When you just see somebody with a bunch of money and you just feel like, always break down how they got the money, why they're getting the money, and how could that possibly how could it work for you? And if it can't work for you, just because it's money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can make the same amount, or because what you might think a person is doing, like, oh, he's doing a YouTube video just like me. No, you didn't factor in his age. You didn't factor in his promotions. You didn't factor in the topics, the content that he's putting out, the age group that he's speaking to, the audience. So these are all the things that the audience is usually what is your sell point. The audience is whatever audience you gather up. If they're audience where they're impressionable, where they can make a whole ton of money from this audience buying into a product, of course the content creator that is building that audience will get sponsors, will get endorsements, so that the money they pay them, they're going to make triple from the audience. You get what I'm saying? And that goes on in every factor of life. Your age does play a big part in your wages, as well as your financial. The smarter you get, the wiser you get at an earlier age is going to be always better for you. So for the youth out there just listening, start now. Do what you're doing, to put your heart into whatever you love doing, and try to make your profits. And don't overspend on the things that you feel that's going to be, that's just for your lifestyle. Spend on the things that's going to be more beneficial for you to make more money, and concentrate on the things that you do, and realize that you have an audience that can be profitable for you as well as other people, and you just got to know how to monetize that. I'll talk about this more on my morning show. There's so much more I can explain to you guys and let you know how at what points in certain ages what type of businesses to open at that certain point of your age. And you just got to know your audience and realize that the things that you do are always going to be detrimental on how much you bringing back in. So if a lot of people out there, you see them, they have, they might have built up a whole bunch of bills for themselves, and they have to make a certain amount of money, or have to keep working and keep working and working to even pay that off. But when the money starts working for you and it is coming in, like, just say for example, a producer, you sold a beat to Beyonce, and it always bringing in money. Well, that's where that's one thing you keep in your cabinet that's always gonna keep coming in, and now you have to build different revenues like that you don't have to work as much to make a lot. And that's just a little something conversation I wanted to bring to you guys. All this crabs in the barrel mentality, it's never worth it in the end, because usually the person that they're going at or hurting for whatever piece of jewelry that they're looking at, those things the person they're probably going at wasn't even wealthy, didn't even get to that point. You didn't even let that person reach to that point to even try to get some valuable information that can benefit your life, and you snub his life away. It's just not even worth it. So when you really break down and see the reason why people do the things that they do, you'll start realizing how to make money better and how to support your family way better when you have that right information. It's just like how they say a lot of you don't see a lot of rich people wearing these logos and this and that. It's not just all the way about that. It's usually if you're wealthy and another person's wealthy, like the owner of Versace or this and that, and you might not even like that person, so you don't want to buy into that. And the more you keep undertucked and the more you don't show, that's the reason why you think like that. You don't want to show everything, because it's almost like you're a walking billboard. You're promoting. If I came on here and started wearing all these brands and this and that, all I'm doing is getting them more money. It's not bringing in anything for myself. Yeah, to the people that don't have it, they might be looking up like, oh, he's dressed this, dressed that, but it's really not making any profit for me at any point, me wearing somebody else's label without them paying me for it. So you have to treat your life like that and realize that whatever you put on camera, people are making money off of it, and if you're not getting any profit out of it, what are you doing it for? You guys let me know how you feel on this one, and I'll get back to you on my morning shows, 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays if you want to speak to me live. Till next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right